I think a lot of us who has struggled with a mental illness can really empathize with the idea of lost years. It's the years that you've spent trying to figure out what you have and how to deal with it. I first got help in high school, but once I left to go to uni, everything fell apart. It was clear to me and my professors that I was just mentally not ready to do my coursework. So I had to take a gap year to get a handle on my condition. But my gap year, it wasn't enjoyable. It wasn't like a nice break. I was misdiagnosed the whole time, put on the wrong medication for bipolar, and it actually made it worse. I also almost got addicted to Xanax during this time. The SSRIs that was given to me really amped up my mania and my psychosis to a point where I had to get ECT done. And even then, I wasn't like cured. I was just not hallucinating anymore. I had to go back to uni after my gap year, and I was basically in the same place that I was when I left. For a while, I just was trying to do anything to feel better. I was going out a lot, I was going to raves a lot, I was drinking a lot, and I just was trying to run away from how bad I felt. And that set me back quite a bit. I finally met a doctor who correctly diagnosed me and finally put me on the right medication. Even though I was on the right medication, the one that I'm on right now, things were still quite difficult, especially after being in such a bad state for a long time during my gap year. And I remembered having another manic episode and then having to hospitalize myself. Things did get better after my time in the hospital, but even though physically I was stable, like my bipolar was okay, once that happened, then I had to spend more years trying to deal with all the trauma from past events and my time in psychosis and paranoia. All the deeper issues that was kind of masked by the bipolar came flooding out. For example, like right after the hospital, my ED, which is binge eating and purging, came back full force. And from that, I lost even more years to my other mental illnesses. It even affected my life path. I was always an artistic person. Like my main passion was art. That was what I was known for. I had one of my designs featured in a few magazines, and I remembered that project really showed me how much I was depending on my mania for my creativity. I spent like 5 weeks straight literally working on this design with no sleep and just like fixated on it. For me, doing art equals to worsening my condition, and I didn't want to go to the hospital again. So for a lot of years, I had to stop doing art. It took years to heal that relationship with my art and my passion and my creativity, and I've only recently come back to it, again taking so much of years in different parts of my life for me. And if I'm being honest, I struggle with comparing myself with people around my age. Like I'm 27. The people that were from my high school or the people that were from my uni or peers that are around my age, I just feel like every time I see them on my feed, on my social media, it just looks like they're so far ahead in life. Like they're doing things with themselves. They're done the work and kind of starting to reap the benefits from the things that they probably set up during the time that I was just trying to stay alive. And even though I know the reason and I know that I couldn't have done more than I did, that doesn't override the really shitty feeling that you have when you realize how much you've lost. I often still feel like I'm that 21-year-old that just got out of the hospital and still trying to figure something out and trying to just start their life. Trying to start a life that I honestly wasn't planning to experience for this long. I think the last thing that these years have taken away from me is a sense of identity. The person that I thought I was before I got out of the hospital and got stable, I thought I was like this outgoing, extroverted, very social person, very like lively and upbeat. Those words really don't describe who I am now. I'm the complete opposite of that. I'm introverted, I'm awkward, I can't be fucked to go out every weekend and to meet people all the time. I'm less adventurous than I used to be. I'm a lot more pragmatic as a person now. I really lost my identity because now I'm not constantly revolving around my bipolar and reacting to the different moods that I used to switch between all the time. It's still been hard trying to get to know myself and try to build a personality from the ground up. Was there a lot of good that I gained from my time and my struggle with my condition? Yeah, obviously. There's always a lot of good that can come out in any situation. But I still have to admit the years that I've lost to my bipolar and my mental illnesses is something that if I think too much about really gets me down. And it still affects me to this very day and probably for the rest of my life.